Welcome back, students. Today we are going to discuss hormonal coordination topic of Unit 6. Before we start the main content, I would like to inform that the images used in our slides are for education purpose only. We respect intellectual property right of the original creator and owner of these images. If you are the owner of any of the images used in this PPT, have any concern, any issue, please contact us at sathi@iitk.ac.in and we shall remove the images. In this particular video lecture, we are going to discuss these points like hormonal coordination, hormones of mammals, role of hormones as messenger and regulation. Okay. So, first of all, we have to understand that neural control or neural coordination is a rapid yet temporary thing. Since our nerve fiber don't reach every cell and ongoing regulation is necessary. So, to provide that kind of regulation, hormones actually mainly involve to coordinate all kind of regulations occur in our body. Okay, so together the neuron, neural system and this endocrine system, both of them actually regulate bodily all kind of function occur in our body. What is endocrine gland and hormone? First of all, we have to understand what is endocrine glands. So endocrine glands are ductless gland. There is no duct in which they just flow. They are ductless gland that actually involve in secreting certain kind of hormones. Hormones act as a intercellular messenger. Intercellular messenger means cell to cell coordination within two or more than two cells, cell to cell coordination. Some hormone works as a intracellular messenger also, means within. Okay, but normally hormones are intercellular messenger. They just move on from one cell to another cell and give their, whatever signal they have to regulate our body functions according to the need. Okay, hormones are non-nutrient, means they are not made for nutrition purpose. These are certain kind of chemicals which actually involve in regulating our different kind of metabolic activity. So they are present in our body in a very, very minute amount, or we can say in a trace amount. Okay. So first of all, hormones are, these endocrine glands are ductless gland. There is no gland. So these are ductless glands secreted just directly by the different kind of cells. Okay, one by one we will discuss. And these hormones are intercellular messenger. They pass their message from one cell to another cell or through blood also. Okay, these are non-nutrient chemicals and produced in trace amount in our body. In invertebrates, they have simple system. Okay, but in vertebrates, to regulate our various metabolic activity, hormones are mainly involved to coordinate different activities going on in our body. Now, let's discuss human endocrine system. Okay, so our system, human endocrine system actually comprises endocrine glands and certain hormone producing tissue, or we can say cell. Okay, so what are those glands and where these are situated? These are situated in various locations in our body, as you can see in this particular picture. This is pineal gland, which is present in our forehead part, forebrain part. Thymus gland is also present over here. Pituitary gland is also present over here. This is the thyroid gland, thymus, parathyroid also present within the thymus gland like this, two pairs. Adrenal gland, which is situated just upper part of our kidney. Pancreas, which is present in the digestive system, actually involved in the digestive system. Uterus, ovaries, testes, they all organs are involved, which for the production of various kind of hormone, which regulate various kind of activity going on in our body. Okay, so what are those key components? Pituitary gland, first, pineal gland, thyroid, adrenal gland, pancreas, parathyroid, thymus, and gonads, which include both testes and ovaries in male and female respectively. Now, first of all, where it signal actually originated. So the location is hypothalamus. Okay, this hypothalamus, this is the location, this sky blue color area, this area. This is known as hypothalamus. This hypothalamus is actually present in the basal part of our forebrain, which is known as diencephalon. Okay, so this hypothalamus is present over here. This is the location. Okay, and this hypothalamus actually regulate a wide spectrum of our body function, including temperature of our body temperature. It is having our hunger center, thrust center, and sleep center. So this actually regulate so many things, so many things which actually regulate our body functions, which directly affect our body function. Okay, and this hypothalamus actually contains certain neurosecretory cells, which actually organize into the nuclei, okay, which regulate the synthesis and secretion of pituitary gland. Synthesis and secretion of pituitary gland. So main signal comes from the hypothalamus side. Okay, where it is situated? It is situated in the basal part of our forebrain. Okay, directly it regulates temperature of our body, hunger, thirst, and sleep, and indirectly it regulates the secretions of pituitary gland. Clear? Now, types of hypothalamic hormones. Hypothalamus release two type of hormone. First type of hormone is known as releasing hormone, which actually stimulate the function of pituitary gland, means it stimulates pituitary hormone secretion. Another type of hormone which is secreted by hypothalamus is known as inhibitory hormones. Inhibitory, what is the function of inhibitory? Just opposite of the releasing hormone, means it suppresses the pituitary hormone release. So, antagonistic effect. One hormone stimulates pituitary gland, another hormone suppress the release of pituitary gland, pituitary hormone. Okay, like one hormone is known as GnRH, means gonadotropin releasing hormone. So it stimulates gonadotropin synthesis. While another hormone which is also released via this hypothalamus region, known as somatostatin, it acts as an inhibitory hormone, means it inhibits the growth hormone release. Okay, so this is how it releases both type of hormone, stimulating hormone as well as inhibitory hormone. So if it stimulates more than required amount of pituitary hormone, then immediately inhibitory hormone release and stop the functioning of pituitary hormone. So this is how it regulates the functioning of pituitary gland by synthesizing or by releasing both type of hormone, releasing hormone as well as inhibitory hormone. Okay, now effect of hypothalamic hormones. As just now we have discussed, it is having both type of hormones. Stimulating, it is having stimulating function as well as inhibitory function. So release of growth hormone actually stimulate growth hormone. So growth hormone, gonadotropin releasing hormone actually stimulate anterior pituitary. This is pituitary gland which is present into the lobe-like structure, anterior pituitary and posterior pituitary. And this is the hypothalamic region. So through their cytone, this, as you can see, these are the arrows. It provides signals. It just provides signals to the blood vessel which is present over here, and through blood, it actually further convey their message towards the anterior pituitary side for the release of growth hormone, which is further released by pituitary gland. So first of all, hypothalamus release growth hormone releasing hormone, and as it release growth hormone releasing hormone, as it provide its signals towards the pituitary gland, immediately pituitary gland start releasing this growth hormone. Okay, so second, what is the effect of growth hormone which is further released by pituitary gland? It has various kind of functions like glucose sparing effect, means it stimulate adipose tissue to break down stored fat because it require growth during fueling the growth effect. Growth effect increase uptake of amino acids from the blood, enhance cellular proliferation and reduce apoptosis. So what are the targets? So this is another effect of growth hormone. Third, diabetogenic effect, means growth hormone stimulate liver to break down glycogen which is stored in this particular site, to breakdown of glycogen into the glucose because glucose required for the growth purpose. So this is the effect of growth hormone. So first of all, growth hormone releasing hormone stimulate the growth hormone which is further released by the pituitary gland, and pituitary gland start showing their effect on various organs. Second type of hormone which is released by hypothalamus is having inhibitory effect. So inhibition of growth hormone means high IGF-1 level perceived by hypothalamus. Growth hormone inhibit hormone GHIH. Growth hormone inhibit hormone is released to inhibit growth hormone release in the anterior pituitary. So in this case, growth hormone will not be released by the pituitary gland. Okay, so if this liver release IGF-1 factor to stimulate stimulating growth effect, it is if it stimulate this IGF-1 factor, then immediately it will work on the hypothalamus, and then immediately hypothalamus start releasing growth hormone inhibitory hormone to stop the release of growth hormone which is already going on via anterior pituitary side. So both kind of function, stimulating function as well as inhibitory function is look after by this hypothalamus. Now pituitary gland. Pituitary gland is actually located in the bony cavity. Just now we have seen the picture. It is present in the just like in this type of bony cavity here, and it is somehow connected with the this hypothalamus. It is having two parts, anterior pituitary and posterior pituitary. So this pituitary gland is located in the in a bony cavity, and this bony cavity is called sella turcica. What is the name? Sella turcica. It is attached to the hypothalamus by a stalk. This is a bony cavity. This is a bony cavity. Okay. And it is attached via this hypothalamus. This is the hypothalamus area. Okay. This is the hypothalamus area. It is attached by a stalk which is known as infundibulum. Okay. Which is known as infundibulum. The pituitary gland is anatomically divided into the two parts. This part is known as anterior pituitary. Okay, anterior pituitary, and this part is known as posterior pituitary. Okay, anterior pituitary is also known as adenohypophylaxis, and posterior pituitary is known as neurohypolaxis. As in anterior pituitary, hormones of hypothalamus come via blood vessel. As you can see over here, this is the primary, capillary region, glomerulus region, which is connected between these two areas, and the hormone released by this hypothalamus transferred into these blood vessels, and through these blood vessels, hormone is transferred into the anterior pituitary site. So this is how it will connect it. While in this posterior pituitary side, directly hormone is synthesized by the hypothalamus, and it is transferred via this their cytone region into the secondary into the posterior pituitary location. So neurohypolaxis. They just store. They just work to store the hormones which is released by the hypothalamus. Okay. So anterior pituitary hormones. Anterior pituitary release these hormones. Releasing hormone. Okay. Means pituitary with these releasing hormone actually gonadotropin releasing hormone, which further stimulate luteinizing hormone. Luteinizing hormone works on the target site. And what is the target site? Reproductive system. Okay. And reproductive system actually stimulate the production of sex hormone by the gonads, like testes or ovaries. Gonadotropin releasing hormone, which is also secreted by the hypothalamus, it actually stimulate follicle stimulating hormone of the pituitary, which it is also located in the anterior pituitary site. And follicle stimulating hormone again works on the target site. What is the target site? Reproductive system. And it stimulates the production of sperms and egg. Okay, sperms and egg. TRH hormone is also released by hypothalamus. It will stimulate the functioning of TSH, means thyroid stimulating hormone. And what is the target site? Thyroid gland. This thyroid stimulating hormone is released by pituitary gland. It further works on the thyroid gland, and this thyroid gland further stimulate the release of thyroid hormone via thyroid gland, and this thyroid hormone regulate metabolism. Okay. Next hormone, PRH. This is again released by the anterior pituitary. No, this is released by the hypothalamus. This again, but this hormone accelerate the functioning of PRL, which works on the mammary gland, and this mammary gland works. What is the function of mammary gland? It actually involved in the production of milk production. Okay, GHRH, growth hormone releasing hormone. It is inhibited by growth hormone inhibiting hormone. Okay, contradictory function. We have already discussed about releasing hormone and inhibitory hormone previously. So again, I'll not explain it. But these two, if it will enhance this inhibitory hormone, inhibit the function. Similarly, this will enhance the function or stimulate. This will inhibit the function. Okay. Now, so this hormone actually stimulate the functioning of growth hormone. What is the target site? Target site, liver, bone, muscle. Okay. And they further involved in the production of insulin like growth factor. Insulin like growth factor is stimulate body growth and higher metabolic rate. CRH is released by the hypothalamus. It works on the ACTH, corticotropic stimulating hormone. It works on the adrenal gland. Adrenal gland induce glucocorticoid, a hormone produced by adrenal gland, which actually regulate the metabolic activity and stress response of our body. Okay, so these are the hormone released by the anterior pituitary. There is a term comes over here, pars intermedia. Pars intermedia. As you can see, this is the picture of pituitary gland. Pituitary gland connected via infundibulum with the hypothalamus. This is a infundibulum. Okay, pituitary gland we can just now we have discussed divided into two parts: anterior pituitary and posterior pituitary. Or pituitary gland in human can be divided into in two parts, but overall in mammals it is divided into three parts. Okay, which is known as upper part is known as pars tuberalis. Then inner this light small part is known as pars intermedia, and the opposite side part, the bigger part, is known as pars distalis. In human, this is totally merged with the pars distalis. So in human, we can say we have only two parts, anterior pituitary or posterior pituitary. So right now we are discussing about this part, pars intermedia. It is a part of anterior pituitary, and this purple part is mainly involved in the secretion of melanocyte stimulating hormone. Okay, and this part is almost merged with this pars distalis. So we can say we have two parts, anterior pituitary and posterior pituitary. Okay, now let's discuss neurohypophylaxis or posterior pituitary. As I just now said that what is the function of posterior pituitary? It just store the hormone which is released by the hypothalamus. There is no involvement of blood. Hormone is synthesized by the hypothalamus, comes via their cytone, and they store this hormone which is already secreted by the hypothalamus in this particular posterior pituitary region. So it is stored and release hormone which is synthesized by the hypothalamus. So what are those hormones? First hormone is oxytocin, which actually stimulate uterine contraction during childbirth and also involved in the milk ejection. Second hormone which is stored by this posterior pituitary is vasopressin, which is also known as antidiuretic hormone. It actually regulates the water reabsorption. Where water reabsorption occur? Obviously in the kidney region, collective duct region or DCT region of the kidney. Okay, it regulates reabsorption of the water, vasopressin. So two hormone, these are synthesized by the hypothalamus, but their storage and release occur in the posterior side. One hormone is involved in the uterine contraction during childbirth and milk ejection. Another one is involved in the water reabsorption via kidney. So this is all about the posterior pituitary. Now let's discuss next gland, that is pineal gland. Pineal gland is also located in the forebrain. This is our brain, and a very slight this blue dot, this is our pineal gland. This area is hypothalamus. Okay, and this is our pituitary gland. Okay, this is hypothalamus. Okay, so this is present in our forebrain, and this pineal gland is involved in the secretion of melatonin hormone. And melatonin hormone, what is the function of melatonin? Melatonin hormone is very, very important as it involved to regulate our body's circadian rhythm, 24-hour cycle. When to sleep, when to get up, means our sleep wake cycle. It actually control our sleep wake cycle, this melatonin hormone, which is released by pineal gland. And it also regulate our body temperature. Clear? So it actually influence our metabolism, pigmentation. Yes, melatonin. So it also involved in the pigmentation part also. Okay. It also regulate our menstruation cycle in the females and immune function of our body. So these are very, very important function. 24-hour rhythm of our body. It control our sleep wake cycle or circadian rhythm, body temperature, our metabolism, pigmentation, and menstruation cycle. Next gland is known as thyroid gland. This is thyroid gland. This is the thyroid gland area. Okay, this is thyroid gland. As you can see, this thyroid gland has two lobes, which is located either side of our trachea. This is our trachea, right? This is trachea. So it is located on the either side of our trachea, and it is connected via thin connective tissue, which is known as isthmus. What is the right term for that? Isthmus. Okay. And this thyroid consists of follicles and stromal tissue. Follicular tissue and stromal tissue. Okay. So follicular tissue actually synthesizes two hormones. T4 hormone or thyroxine hormone and T3 hormone. Okay. T4 means tetraiodothyronine. Tetraiodothyronine. It regulates metabolism and energy production of our body. T3 means tri. T4 means tetra. It's very clear. And T3 means tri. So what is the full form? Triiodothyronine. Okay. T3 also involved in the metabolism and overall body functioning of our body. In this particular hormone, iodine is very, very important factor, as iodine is essential for the T3 and T4 hormone synthesis in the thyroid. Okay, if some people having this kind of disorder, means hypothyroidism. Hypo means lack of iodine. Lack of dietary iodine occur in someone's body, then that person can suffer with this hypothyroidism, in which enlargement of thyroid gland occur, and this particular disease is known as goiter. So what is the cause of goiter? Lack of iodine. And what type of disease this is? This is a hypothyroidism. Okay, during pregnancy, some females have hypothyroidism because of the lack of iodine in their food. So in that case, because of the absence of essential amount of iodine, this thing affect fetal development, causing stunt growth and mental issue of the newborn baby. Another type of disorder which is also related with this iodine, this is hyperthyroidism. Hyper means extra. Okay, more iodine that is present in the required amount. So this condition is like thyroid cancer or nodules, can lead excessive thyroid hormone production, so known as hypothyroidism. Hypothyroidism actually disrupt our normal body physiology, as it affect it is involved in the body metabolism. If it is present in the more amount that is required by our body, then obviously it disturb our or disrupt our body functionality. Okay, what is the thyroid function? Thyroid function actually to regulate the rate at which body burn its energy. It actually regulate so directly we can say it directly involved in the metabolic system of our body. how, at what rate our body burn energy. Okay, so it support the process of a red blood cell production also. Thyroid hormone influence nutrient breakdown because that nutrient ultimately involved in the production of energy. Okay, and it also involved in maintaining fluid balance in our body. So this is the hypothalamus, which is the master key. It actually releases thyrotropin stimulating hormone, which stimulate thyroid stimulating hormone. Okay, then immediately thyroid will stimulate its hormone T3 and T4, which increase the metabolic activity, means growth and development, increase catecholamine effects. Okay, when these hormones are present in the ample amount, then immediately thyroid gland give negative signals to the anterior pituitary side. Okay, and from anterior pituitary, it will give the signal to the hypothalamus just to inhibit the synthesis of thyrotropic releasing hormone. So this is how it works. There is a disease known as thyrocalcitonin, which is also related with this. This thyrocalcitonin, not a disease, it is a hormone which actually regulate the blood calcium level of our body. This thyrocalcitonin is also released by the thyroid hormone. So it regulates the blood calcium level. So apart from T3 and T4, it also involved in the production of thyrocalcitonin. Next type of gland is known as parathyroid gland. This parathyroid gland is present within the thyroid gland. This is our thyroid gland, H-shaped thyroid gland. This is the isthmus. And these yellow points, yellow button-like structure is known as parathyroid gland. These are 4 in number, 2 in each thyroid gland. This parathyroid gland involved in the production of a hormone known as parathyroid hormone. These are peptide in nature, proteinaceous in nature. This parathyroid hormone acts on the bone, so stimulating bone resorption. So it actually increase calcium level by reabsorption of the calcium in the renal tubules of kidney, calcium absorption from the digestive food as its hypercalcemic hormone. It increase the calcium level in our body. That's why stimulating bone reabsorption. Next one is the thymus gland. Okay, thymus. This is thyroid. Okay, here 4 dots, parathyroid. This one is the thymus gland, just below the thyroid gland. This is present in the dorsal side of heart. This is heart. Okay, so this is present in the dorsal side of heart near aorta. Okay, this thymus gland actually produce thymosin hormone for T cell differentiation. T cell differentiation, T cell, B cell, there are 2 type of cells which involve in immunity, immune system of our body. T cell means thymus T cell produced involved in this cell mediated immune system, while B cell is involved in the humoral immunity, which is in which antibody is involved. So both type of cell, T cell and B cell, T cell and B cell involve in immunity of our, just to maintain immunity of our body. Okay, cell mediated immune system is provided by T cell. Okay, and antibody, Y-shaped antibody, this is generated by B cell. Okay, so this is the function of thymus gland. And thymus gland produce thymosin for T cell differentiation and antibody production. But with the passage of time, thymus gland degenerated. So with the passage of time, as we get old, our immune system get towards the weaker side. So weaken immune system occur with age as it degenerate with the age. Next type of gland is known as adrenal gland. This adrenal gland is present just above the kidney. This yellow one are the adrenal gland. These are also present in a pair. So one pair of adrenal gland. These are located on the anterior part of each kidney. Clear? The adrenal gland consists of two type of tissue. Same means adrenal medulla and adrenal cortex. Okay. So adrenal gland are mainly involved in the fight or flight response. This adrenal medulla actually secrete a hormone which is known as epinephrine or adrenaline, or second type of hormone. This is the first hormone. Second type, no adrenaline and noradrenaline, or we can say norepinephrine. So adrenaline, noradrenaline, or we can say epinephrine or norepinephrine. Collectively, we can use the term catecholamine. This is known as catecholamine. This hormone is secreted by adrenal medulla part of adrenal gland. So it actually rapidly secrete in response to any kind of stress or emergency condition. Means suddenly there is a earthquake or flood kind of condition, or snakes come in front of you suddenly, or a lion. So in that type of stress or emergency condition, this hormone very quickly release and give us a signal just to fight the situation in that situation or flight. That's why here this term fight or flight hormone is used for the same. So what it actually related, it actually provide alertness in our body. It will increase heart rate at that emergency situation or stress situation. Our palpitation will increase, our respiratory rate will increase, our glucose concentration also increase at that particular time. So it actually stimulate very quick breakdown of glycogen which is present in our body, lipid and protein during that particular stress condition. Okay, so if there is a stress condition, very quickly signal provided by the pituitary gland towards the adrenal gland, and immediately what kind of hormone is secreted by pituitary gland that time? Adrenocortico-stimulating hormone, ACTH. It will stimulate the adrenal gland for the secretion of adrenal and noradrenaline. Okay, and this will increase sweating of our body, heart rate will get increased, immediately glycogen breakdown increase, so glucose, liver release the glucose, fast breathing, digestion slow down that particular arm, pupil dilated, and it will increase the blood pressure in that fight or flight situation. So this hormone is released by the adrenal medulla region. Now, adrenal cortex. Adrenal cortex has three different layers. Zona reticularis, innermost layer. Zona fasciculata, middle layer. And zona glomerulosa is the outer layer. And these layers actually secrete some fat-soluble hormone, or we can say hydrophobic hormones, or we can say steroid hormone, cortisol, glucocortisol, mineralocortisol, or aldosterone. Okay, so cortisols including glucocortisol, mineralocortisol. This is the cortex part. This one is the medulla part. Okay, and this one is the cortex part. This is the outermost region. This is the outermost region, zona pellucida. Then this is the middle region, zona fasciculata, and this is the innermost region. So glucocorticoid. This glucocorticoid stimulate gluconeogenesis, means synthesis of glucose other than starch. Okay, gluconeogenesis, lipolysis, breakdown of lipid, proteolysis, breakdown of protein, and RBC production. It also suppress immune system, and it maintain cardiovascular system and kidney function. So first hormone which is released by cortex region of adrenal gland is glucocorticoid, which stimulate gluconeogenesis, lipolysis, and proteolysis, enhance RBC production, and suppress immune system. Another hormone, aldosterone, it actually regulates electrolyte balance in our body by promoting sodium ion uptake and water reabsorption in and potassium excretion in kidney region, and mainly in the renal tubule of our kidney, nephrons. Okay, so this adrenal cortex region also secrete a small amount of androgenic steroid which contribute to the hair growth which occur during puberty of male and female, young stage of puberty time of male and female. Next type of gland is known as pancreatic gland, or no, sorry, pancreas. This pancreas is the gland which function, which are involved in functioning both type of gland, like it also involved in the secretion of various kind of enzymes via endocrine cells which are present over here, and endocrine secretions like hormone secretions. Okay, this endocrine secretions or endocrine part are mainly involved this region, island of Langerhans, from where endocrine hormones is released via this pancreatic region. So this part is known as pancreatic island. Okay, this. While this small pink one, red one works on the releasing of pancreatic juice, means which involve the release of various kind of enzyme. Okay, so iris of Langerhans actually involve for the release of various kind of hormones, in which alpha cells mainly involve for the secretion of glucagon, while this beta cell involve in the secretion of insulin. Okay, beta cells for insulin and alpha cells for glucagon hormone. So let's discuss the difference between glucagon and insulin. Obviously, antagonistic effect. Glucagon involve to rise the blood glucose level. Okay, by stimulating glycogenolysis or gluconeogenesis, decrease cellular glucose uptake. Okay, decrease cellular glucose uptake. So obviously it will increase the blood glucose level. While this insulin, first glucagon, second one is insulin. Insulin involved in the lowering of blood glucose level, lowering the blood glucose level by enhancing cellular glucose uptake and utilization, and promote glycogenesis. Okay, so antagonistic effect. Insulin involved to lowering down the blood glucose by enhancing its cellular use, okay, promoting glycogenesis, while glucagon rise the blood glucose level and decrease the cellular glucose uptake. Glucose homeostasis, so mainly maintained by the balance between these two hormones, means insulin and glucagon. So prolonged hyperglycemia, if for a long time glucose is more in our blood, that situation is known as prolonged hyperglycemia, lead to diabetes mellitus. And in that situation, that patient which are suffering with this diabetes mellitus treated with the insulin therapy. Okay, insulin therapy. Testes are also present in the pairs. These are located in the scrotal sac of which is present outside the abdomen of the male. What is the function? Function as a primary sex organ and endocrine gland. It is composed of seminiferous tubules and interstitial tissue, as you can see in this particular picture. Okay, seminiferous tubules, okay, and interstitial cells. So interstitial cells which are present over here, interstitial cells, which is also known as Leydig cells, these are mainly involved in the production of androgen hormone. On what kind of androgen? Mainly testosterone. This testosterone hormone is produced by the interstitial cell Leydig cells, which are present in the testes. So this testosterone actually involved in the development and functioning of male accessory sex organs. Okay, like it involved in the stimulation of muscular growth after at the time of puberty, hair growth, aggressiveness, and deepening of voice in male. So it play a major role in spermatogenesis also and influence male sexual behavior. This testosterone produce anabolic effect on the protein and carbohydrate metabolism. What is the effect of testosterone? If someone is having testosterone in low amount, not enough amount of testosterone is not produced in someone, that person have major risk of Alzheimer's disease. They are that type of people constantly feeling mental tiredness. They are showing depression. Their body weight comparatively more. They have low erectile dysfunctionality. They can suffer with this erectile functionality. Increased risk of osteoporosis also there. If someone is having testosterone in the optimum amount, these type of people have sharp brain. They have clear type of thinking. They have better muscular mass. They have healthy heart. They have high energy level, and they have strong bone as compared those who are having low testosterone in their body. Now, ovary also present in a pair form. These are present in a pair in the abdomen of females. These are known as primary female sex organ, produced one ovum per menstruation cycle. And this ovary mainly involved in the production of estrogen hormone and progesterone. Estrogen and progesterone hormone. These are known as female sex hormone. So this ovary is composed of ovarian follicle and stromal tissue. This estrogen hormone actually involved in the synthesis of growing ovarian follicle. Progesterone mainly involved in the this progesterone hormone mainly released by the corpus luteum post ovulation time. Estrogen hormone stimulate the growth of female secondary sexual characters, development of ovarian follicle, appearance of the secondary sexual character, regulation of female sexual behavior. Okay. Progesterone hormone support pregnancy. It also stimulate formation of ovuli in mammary glands and production of milk. Now, some hormones also secreted by heart, kidney, and gastrointestinal tract. Let's discuss those hormones also. Like first one is atrial natriuretic hormone factor, ANT. This one is secreted by the cardiac cells of our heart. Okay, this is secreted by the cardiac cell in the atrial wall, and these hormone act as a vasodilator. So vasodilator means it will increase the diameter of vessels. So it will reduce the blood pressure. This hormone is released in response to the high blood pressure. Okay. Hormone released by the kidney. First hormone is erythropoietin. This erythropoietin is released by the juxtaglomerular cells in the kidney. It actually involved in the production of RBC, erythropoiesis. Okay, so it trigger the production of RBC when blood oxygen level decrease suddenly in our body. Third hormone which is secreted by gastrointestinal tract is gastrin. This gastrin hormone acts on the gastrin gland, which is present on the our gastrointestinal tract, and this gastric gland stimulates the production of HCl and pepsinogen secretion for digestion, as this HCl and pepsinogen hormone is secreted by the stomach just to provide the acidic environment. Okay. Now secretin hormone. This one is also secreted by the GIT. It stimulates the exocrine pancreas. Okay, to secrete water. Okay, so the secretin hormone is actually stimulate the exocrine gland to pancreas to secrete water and bicarbonate ions. Another hormone known as cholecystokinin CCK, which is also released by gastrointestinal tract. It acts on pancreas as well as gallbladder to stimulate pancreatic hormone and bile juice secretion respectively, just to stimulate pancreatic enzyme and bile juice secretion. Another hormone known as gastric inhibitory peptide, GIP. It inhibitory means it inhibit gastric secretion and motility. Okay, just antagonistic effect of this gastrin hormone. Now, mechanism of hormone action. There are certain kind of receptor which is present on that particular target tissue or target cell. Hormone initially bind to that specific receptor. Okay, mainly those hormones which are not able to cross the cell membrane, because cell membrane are, what is the main content of any type of cell membrane? That is lipid. So if some kind of hormone are proteinaceous in nature, then it is very difficult for those hormones to cross the cell wall of the any kind of cell. So that type of hormone having certain kind of receptor present over here. So they will come over here and bind with the receptor, give the signal, and then they provide the signal to the cell. These receptors. Okay, so if some hormone are proteinaceous in nature, so they are lipophilic, they are not lipophilic, they are hydrophilic, so they cannot cross the cell membrane. Cell membrane are having more lipid. Okay, so only those hormones which are having fatty acid or steroidal in nature, they can cross the cell. So these hormones bind to the specific receptor which are present in the target tissue. So the membrane bound receptor, these receptors are present on the cell surface, while some intracellular receptors are mainly present at the nuclear level. So if this is the nucleus, then only those hormone can cross this cell membrane which are having, if this is a hormone which are lipophilic, this lipophilic hormone can come over here, cross the cell membrane and directly cross the cell wall and cytoplasm and come towards the we can say genetic material of that particular cell and give its signal to the DNA site, and then after the interaction this DNA immediately give the signals to that particular gene and produce respective protein or protein or what kind of function that particular this hormone give to the genetic material, that kind of function related signals is provided by the DNA. Okay, so this is known as intracellular receptors. Intracellular receptors are present only for those hormones which are steroidal in nature. Okay, but if some kind of hormones are proteinaceous in nature, those are not able to cross the cell membrane. Their receptors are present on the membrane. Okay, so hormone receptor complex, binding form of hormone receptor complex. Each receptor is specific to one hormone. Complex trigger biocomplex, this hormone receptor, when there is a complex, then this complex trigger the biochemical reaction in the target tissue. Okay, so if proteinaceous, it will give its signals towards the on the membrane side. If it is not proteinaceous, it will cross the cell membrane and come towards the nuclear side, and this is known as intracellular receptor. Those are hydrophobic in nature, or we can say lipophilic in nature. Okay, now let's discuss type of hormone. Hormone are of various type. Some are proteinaceous or peptide type, like insulin, glucagon. These are proteinaceous hormone. Some are steroidal in nature, like cortisol, testosterone. These are steroidal in nature. Some are iothyroid. Iothyroid are different type of hormone. These are thyroid hormones. Some are amino acid derivatives. So they also comes under proteinaceous hormone category. We can say epinephrines. So these are various type of hormone which are present in our body. Okay. So this is all about the topic which is related to this endocrine gland system. I hope most of the things has been cleared now. Still you have any query, any doubt related to today's video lecture, please let me know. We will discuss it later on. Till then, take care. Bye bye and keep learning. Namaskar.